Irritable Dad Syndrome was videotaped before a live studio audience.
Let's get this going before it falls off the rails.
Okay.
There's only one thing I hate more than lying. Skim milk, which is water that's lying about being milk.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome, the perfect podcast to listen to with your pets. Here are your hosts, Mike and Darin.
Hi, I'm Darin.
I am Mike.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome, Cincinnati's comedy podcast. This is episode 207.
Most people would say we're happy you're here. We don't even know that you're here.
No, we have no clue if you're here or not.
We do know that you're listening because we get notifications when someone listens.
Yeah.
But
we are happy when you listen. So
we are, yeah.
And we thank you for listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happened?
On tonight's episode, there was a debacle with my taxes. And the preparation said for the taxes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to use somebody else next year.
So Darin told a story about watching Pulp Fiction with one of his kids, so I decided to watch Goodfellas with one of mine. So I have a guide to watching Goodfellas with your kid.
Fantastic. And I'm going to start out. I have not one, not two. I have three Kroger stories of the week.
It's time now for the Kroger Story of the Week.
Thank you, Dave. So,
Number 3.
Today, I had to run by, I'm going to Indianapolis tomorrow.
Okay.
I had to get some toothpaste and a couple other things. So I ran by Kroger, pull in there, and I get my stuff, and I'm in the line. The guy bagging groceries, he was bagging, and there's powdered sugar. He pops open the bag. He goes, I got powdered sugar all over me. You see that? I got powdered sugar on me. I got powdered sugar all over me. You see that? Powdered sugar is all over me. I got powdered sugar on me.
Wait.
Yeah.
He broke open your powdered sugar bag.
The person who was in line in front of me.
Okay.
He accidentally broke open her bag of powdered sugar.
Okay.
And he said it once, twice, three times. And the cashier keeps looking at him like, okay.
Yeah.
Finally, the cashier looks at him and said, can you get me another bag of powdered sugar? He says, oh, yeah, sure. And as he's walking away, I got powdered sugar on me.
Okay.
And he's like, bees are going to start coming at me.
You know, that's my first thing I think of is the bees are going to come.
Yeah.
That's good.
And
He's safety oriented.
And as he passes one of the managers, I got powdered sugar on me.
Right.
And they said, okay.
Yeah.
And then he says it to another cashier. Do you see this? I got powdered sugar all over me. I don't know how many times he said it in like a 5-minute period, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
And then when he got back, he had the bag, a new bag of powdered sugar. A new bag. And he says, I'm like a powdered donut.
Okay. Well, he had time to think of it.
Of another one.
Yeah.
I'm like a powdered donut. You see that?
Well, okay. In any emergency, communication is key.
Yeah.
People need to understand what happened, exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So he did great there.
Yeah.
Did he ever clean it off?
Oh, yeah. He was like, as he's wiping it off, I got powdered sugar on me.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, like, how many times is he going to say it before he goes back and gets one for this poor customer who's got somewhere to go?
Yeah, most people do.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the powdered sugar story.
Okay.
Number 2.
Last night, Libby and I were out, and we're driving home, and she wanted to run in and get some oranges. While we're in there, we're like, let's just get groceries. So we get groceries. We get the whole shebang. Okay. We get all our vegetables. We get some meat. We get some stuff.
Yeah.
We get everything. And then I realized, it's after 9. There's no
you can't
cashier.
go to the door.
There's no bagger. Okay.
Oh, that's fine. Just,
No. We've got way too much stuff.
I buy hundreds of dollars of stuff with the self-check.
I understand, but you're different than I am. I don't like doing that. We get to the register, and there's 2 people ahead of me. The guy who's at the self-service, what's it called? The thing, what do you call it? The conveyor belt.
Yeah.
He's at the conveyor belt.
Okay.
He's got an entire buggy of groceries, and he's trying to ring them up, push them down, and then he's got to go and bag them. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. And I walk up to him and I said, sir, do you mind if I bag your groceries?
Oh.
And he says, no. I said, great. And I just start bagging like a son of a bitch. I'm bagging groceries like crazy.
Yeah.
And I put them in his cart and I'm like, do you want this in a bag? Do you want your milk in a bag?
Okay.
And I'm going to put this at the bottom of your cart, sir. And I get everything going and I get him ready. And he's like, cool, thanks. The second guy comes up. I just start bagging him.
Now
I didn't even ask him.
Yeah, now you just work there.
Yeah, and his daughter looks at me like, "What are you doing with our food?" And I was like, "I'm bagging your groceries, little lady there."
Yeah.
And he smiles at me, and I said, "I hope you don't mind me doing it." He goes, No, you're good."
Yeah.
I said, because he
okay.
looks, he's like, "Ain't nobody here." I'm like, "No."
Well, you've got the Winn-Dixie training.
Oh God, yeah. I bagged groceries at Winn-Dixie for 5.5 years.
Yeah. Did you get any powdered sugar in yourself?
I did
while
not.
You're doing this? Okay.
I did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had,
I would
hope you
I got powdered sugar on me. I'm like a powdered donut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now Libby has come up and joined in on the fun. The two of us are bagging this guy's groceries.
Okay.
We get everything going. I said, "Thank you. Have a good night." And he laughs. Now Libby starts ringing up all of our stuff, and I'm bagging and getting everything. And what we were going to do is, after I get all of our stuff, we were going to go home. Okay. Because it's like, okay, well, I've bagged me, and 2 other people's groceries.
Yeah. You're bagged out, especially for someone who doesn't work there.
No, I could bag groceries 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Okay. I could do that all day long. I'm a Captain America with bagging groceries.
Sure.
Yeah. I've got more fight left in me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm bagging all of our stuff, and we're almost done. And who comes up behind us is this guy. And I swear to God, he's got to have $300 worth of groceries.
Okay.
Yeah. And I looked at Libby and I said, "Do you want to take our stuff out and I'll start this guy?" And she goes, she says, "No, tell you what, let's do this." And we high-fived.
Yeah.
We high-fived each other in the Kroger.
Okay.
And I walk up to the guy and said, "We were going to bag your groceries if you're okay with that." And he looks at us like we were saints, angels sent from up above. And he goes, "Oh God, thank you." He says, "I have worked he worked for Amazon. He's got his Amazon stuff."
Oh, they're not even allowed to pee.
Yeah. He says, "Man, I've had a 10-hour day and I'm on my way home. I had to get groceries and I am tired. I was getting all my shopping done. I look at it like, ain't nobody here." I was like, "I know. That's Kroger. Ain't nobody here." What I had to do was like what I used to do at Winn-Dixie when they had so much stuff. I ran and I got an empty buggy, cart, as they call it here in Ohio.
Yeah.
And I'm bagging and bagging and bagging, and Libby's bagging and bagging. And she's like, "Oh, hand me that." And we put the heavy stuff on the bottom. Okay. We put the cans on the bottom. We put the save the bread at the top. And then he had a big thing of drinks that we put on the bottom. His bag of potatoes, we put that on the bottom. Everything, man. We got him loaded.
Yeah.
And he just looks at us like, "Man, you guys rock."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Yeah." And we felt great.
That's great.
I had the time of my life bagging everybody's groceries. What were the employees doing?
Just watching.
Yeah, just watching us. Yeah.
Well, that's an improvement.
Yeah.
Usually they're on their phone.
And my God, there was like 4 or 5 times where he's trying to scan it and it, and you had to call. And I'm like, "Hey, I'm trying to flag down somebody."
Yeah.
And one of the employees looks at me like, "Oh, I wonder what he wants." It walked away. That guy walked off while the cashier who has the blue hair, she kept coming over. She was really cool. She kept coming over and fixing the guy's order. And we bagged him all up. And we got him, and we're like, "Take care, have a great night." And you know what? I may be the subject of his Kroger story of the week.
If he had a podcast.
If he had a
may have a podcast.
He might.
Yeah.
He absolutely might.
Yeah.
Number 1.
I ran into a fan of the show at Kroger.
Callaway.
Chris Callaway.
Yeah.
Who is a patron of our show.
He is.
He is.
Yeah.
I am in the produce department and I'm walking over to the peppers, and this guy just like leans up against the peppers, all like la-di-da, looking in the sky like, "I wonder if that light bulb needs changed."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
just leaning against the peppers.
He's just leaning up against the peppers, and I'm thinking, "Excuse me." And then I look and I'm like, "You've got an irritable dad syndrome. What the hell's going on?" He's got an irritable dad syndrome t-shirt on.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what happened?
Yeah.
Hey, what happened? I've never seen somebody out in the wild with an irritable dad syndrome shirt that wasn't you or me or Chris Hughes.
And if you want to help solve that problem, go to irritabledadsyndrome.com.
Go to our shop section.
Store or shop or whatever. It's
shop,
shop, store, something.
Yeah.
Get your kid to help you figure it out. And click one of those things and buy one.
Yeah. Oh my God, this guy couldn't have been cooler. And he said, he says, "I saw you walking in," and I thought, "Oh God, do I approach him? Do I do that?"
Yeah.
And you know how bad I wanted to go. "Excuse me, I'm just trying to do my shopping here." I wanted to be such a, but I couldn't.
Yeah,
because
I don't have time for autographs.
Oh, please, can't you see I'm trying to buy some peppers?
Trying to get to the peppers, the ones that haven't touched your ass or back. Yeah.
Exactly.
The non-warm peppers, as it were.
He said, it's nice to finally meet you. I'm like, no one's ever happy to finally meet me.
Well,
He finally met me.
It's like when Kate Halpin accosted me in the Panera.
She did.
She like, I'm leaving. Excuse me. I was like, oh my God, what did I do? Did I accidentally? My first thought was I accidentally did something horrible at the seat.
Right.
Maybe I pooped myself. I wasn't aware. Maybe I've reached that age. And then wanted an autograph.
When you met Kate, she asked for an autograph. Chris Calloway did not ask me for an autograph.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So-
she's probably copied the signature, and I've signed up for all kinds of things I don't know about.
She's getting the free Apple Plus account. She's got... But anyway, it was so awesome meeting a fan of the show. And Chris Calloway, thank you for being a patron of the show.
Oh, hell yeah.
Our patrons keep this alive.
Literally.
They do. They
Yes.
keep us afloat.
They literally do.
And we cannot thank our patrons enough. So if you're a patron of the show, if you're a fan of the show, if you run into Mike or me in public, say hi. I'll talk to you.
And
This has been the Kroger Story of the Week.
please go to our website. We've upped the game on the website.
Our website looks badass.
And it's got a little email thing. You can sign up for notifications. We now send notifications out when stuff happens and cool things are happening.
Yeah.
So the website's better than the show.
Even Shadow Stevens likes our website. I got a text from him last night. Yeah.
Because, dude, have you seen his stuff?
Oh my God, Shadow Stevens' website.
Yeah.
His podcast puts ours to. It makes our podcast look like a duck flailing on the side of the road.
When I went to, because we were having him on the show,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to his podcast and I went to his website to check it out, and I quit our show. I never told you about this. It was on. It was like about 2:00 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the hell are we even doing? What is?
Well, I mean,
what are we even?
He's Shadow Stevens. He's got like an $8 million studio.
So I quit the show.
He's got 50 years of, or a long time.
I ended my podcast career. I started. I was getting ready to delete the hard drive and everything. I was just like, I'm going to pretend this never existed. I was going to end payment on the website, payment on Buzzsprout.
We've got to start somewhere.
I was going to let it all die and then just tell you, you know what? We had a good run. But he's got those lettering that's like gold and stuff on there.
Yeah.
And it's in little graphic-y things.
Yeah.
We ain't getting there. So I was like, well, I'm done. I went for a walk. And I was like, just what you said. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So here we are starting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to check out Shadow Stevens' podcast, it's mentalradio.net.
It's
And
really
your
good.
mind will be blown.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. 6 out of 10 times he can fly.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane!
It's Mighty Man. Yes, Mighty Man, who can time warp, shapeshift, gun steal, and dream danger on occasion. And who, disguised as Denton Phelps, mild-mannered plumber from Bandicoot, Rooter, and Drain, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way.
He seriously puts about 50 hours of production into each episode. Absolutely amazing.
And he is
he is in the Radio Hall of Fame.
If you are a fan of Douglas Adams and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and you've ever listened to the original radio series, his podcast sounds similar to that original radio series and some of the artwork and those things. And he is also a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan.
Yes.
Which brings me to my shadow topic. Towel Day is coming up.
Yeah.
And I talk about Towel Day every year. And every year, that's when you're like, okay, I'm going to go take a walk around the block while Mike goes on and on about Towel Day.
Now, the one time I bitched about Towel Day, you wanted to devote 45 minutes to reading something from Towel Day, and I yelled at you because you wouldn't let me read anything from Squirrel Seeks Chipmunk by David Sedaris.
As is tradition on Towel Day, podcast listeners, you can skip forward a minute.
When is Towel Day?
Towel Day is May 25th.
Okay. And what's today's date?
The 21st.
Okay.
So we've got 4 days, but I want you to think about this on Towel Day.
I will not sleep until I think about this.
To quote Douglas Adams, a towel is about the most massively useful thing an interstellar hitchhiker can have. Partly, it has great practical value. You can wrap it around you for warmth as you bound across the cold moons of Jaglin Beta.
You sure can.
You can lie on it on the brilliant marble-sanded beaches of Sanjuini's V.
There's nothing like a comfortable
5,
towel.
as it were.
I love my towel.
Inhaling the heady sea vapors. You can sleep under it beneath the stars which shine so redly.
Like a blankie.
On the desert world of Kakrathun. Use it to sail a mini raft down the slow, heavy river Moth. Wet it for use in hand-to-hand combat. Wrap it around your head to ward off the noxious fumes, or avoid the gaze of the ravenous bug bladder beast of Trawl, which is such a mind-bogglingly stupid animal. It assumes that if you can't see it, it can't see you.
Are you reading the entire chapter?
You can wave your towel
Okay.
in emergencies as a distress signal, and, of course, dry yourself off with it if it still seems to be clean enough.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that update on Towel Day. What I like to do with the towel is I tie one end in a knot, then you dip the other end, and you flip somebody in the ass with
hand-to-hand combat.
Oh.
I have multiple copies of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the original book. It's my favorite book of all time. He's my favorite author. I bought another copy of it. I got the when it came in. But it's an illustrated Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And the type, and it's not a very long book, but they've made the font and margins such that it seems long, kind of like what I did in college when I was trying to get a 20-page thing out of a 2-page
You'd be
paper.
crazy not to buy it.
And it's line drawings of the different things, and they're pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's a very good investment.
Thank you, Mike.
Happy Towel Day.
Happy
Darin.
Towel Day to you.
Happy Towel
Mike.
Day to you.
Yeah.
This portion of Irritable Dad Syndrome is brought to you by Otis Elevators. There's nothing like the feel, the smell, the comfort of an Otis elevator. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
So Andrew wanted to watch a mafia movie.
Okay.
He's like randomly.
Yeah.
He's
like, Daddy, can I watch a mafia movie?
Randomly, he said,
that's
let's watch.
how Andrew talks.
He's like, is Godfather? I've heard Godfather's the best mafia movie.
It is.
I'm like, I mean, yeah, a lot of people think it is.
It is.
It's seen by a lot of people. He said, no, I think I've heard objectively it's the best. I was like, well, I mean, that's a subjective opinion, but a lot of people love it. I personally think Goodfellas is better. And he's like, I've heard Goodfellas is good. I was like, yeah, but Godfather is great.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, I love them both. Okay. It's like, Mike, what do you like better, Matrix or John Wick?
Oh, Jesus, we're not.
Okay, I don't want to get you pissy. Yeah. Let's go back to the mafia thing. So he wanted to watch The Godfather with me. Charlie, of course, wanted to watch whatever we were watching. And I'm thinking, is there anything weird in The Godfather?
Yeah.
There's a couple weird things. But he's also, they've both watched The Walking Dead all the way through, which is the big trump card for anything.
All the way through?
They've seen a lot more of it than I have.
Okay, I was about to say, because we still haven't finished The Walking Dead.
I think
we got
Charlie. I think Charlie's finished it and he's watching it a second time now. I think. I don't know.
Okay.
I said to Baz, I don't think there's any. I mean, there's the horse head. Spoiler for The Godfather. There's the horse head. There is the part where Michael...
He'd be perfect in that role.
Yeah, where Michael goes to Italy and gets married.
Yeah.
And then there's a nudie scene.
Hello.
I was like, I've made it through Oppenheimer. I know when that scene's coming up. I'll just be like, stare down at your popcorn.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then we're good. It's like, and then Mo Green gets shot through the eye.
Well,
and
Luca Brasi.
He gets choked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a scene where Sonny, the hot-headed Sonny.
Oh, yeah. He gets decimated.
Mutilated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the scene where my mother bawled her eyes out because my mom loved Sonny Corleone.
I dig Sonny
She
too.
loved him so much. And her heart was broken, and she still hasn't recovered from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mom loves Sonny.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say that in The Godfather, where the door is closing, that final scene closing on, that's iconic.
It's cinematic masterpiece at its finest.
So Andrew was interested in watching that, and I'm like, well,
did you know that The Godfather at its time was the highest grossing motion picture of all time?
I did not know that.
Before that, I believe, was Gone with the Wind. Then The Godfather took that from it. Okay. And then Jaws took it from The Godfather. Okay. Star Wars took it from Jaws.
Yeah.
Star Wars had it for a long time until E.T. came along. Okay. And then I want to say Jurassic Park took it from E.T. So Spielberg took it from himself. I think. Don't quote me on that. Titanic.
And then Titanic
came in there.
took it from Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
and then the blue people, Avatar took it from Titanic.
And then the Avengers.
Was it Endgame that it took to finally?
Avengers Endgame took it.
And then nothing's really done.
Avatar has it back now because they re-released it, and Avatar sits at number 1.
Well, they can't do that.
Well, they did.
Okay.
Yeah. So
anyway,
The Godfather.
So we ended up, what decided it was, I said, Goodfellas is a shorter movie. It's quicker. And I said, honestly, I think Goodfellas does a better job of explaining the mafia. The Godfather, you go into it, you kind of got to know what you're getting into when you get into it. You got the whole wedding. Then make him an offer. You've come here on the day of my daughter's wedding.
Right.
You know, that stuff. And I could just see, Andrew be like, well, what? That's the capo and that's the boss.
I'm a dumb idiot. I didn't have trouble understanding that at all.
But did you see the Goodfellas? And I'm going to reference the Matrix again. There's the part in the Matrix where Morpheus, it turns into classroom time. This is the Matrix.
Right.
You can do this. You can do that. It's almost like, okay, I need to take notes so I understand the rest of the movie.
Right.
There's a part in Goodfellas where it's like they just explain the mafia.
With Darin and the Dominoes.
He's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go through all the people.
Song?
I don't know. But there's music throughout every second of the movie.
There's this killer shot with the camera sideways going down the alley, and then it turns and they're just pummeling the crap out of something.
Yeah. So anyway, we ended up watching Goodfellas, and we get about an hour into it.
What About Me is so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I also told Andrew there's a lot of, now they're called memes. Back in the day, I don't know what we called them, but I remember back in the 90s when Goodfellas came out, every time we were out or doing something, at some point somebody would say, funny how? Yeah. Like I amuse you?
What am I, I'm a clown to you?
I was like, that's, so you'll know where that comes from. There's a ton of them like that. About an hour into it, he's like, they really use the F word a lot, don't they? A lot,
yes.
I was like, yeah. He's like, it's every other word. I was like, yeah, every other effing word.
Do you think Scorsese uses that more than Tarantino?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Goodfellas is way up there. But I think The Big Lebowski beat out Goodfellas.
Maybe.
Goodfellas used to be number 1.
Oh, really?
I remember when Big Lebowski took it.
Yeah.
So, and I think Lebowski came out after Goodfellas.
You're out of your element, Donnie.
Hey,
this
is what happens when you f*** a stranger in. You see that, Larry? You see what happens? Do you see what happens when you f*** a stranger?
It wasn't even his car.
Do you see?
Walter, stop calling him a Chinaman. This ain't the railroad.
Side note, Your Honor. Did you see where...
Market 0, Smokey.
This is not non-Smokey. There are rules.
Yeah. Market 0.
Back to Goodfellas.
Yep.
He's like, boy, that Tommy guy's a real jerk. I'm like, yeah. He reminded me. I laughed way too hard at that. It reminded me of Norm Macdonald. The more I read about this Hitler guy, the more I don't care for him that much. Another reason that I was pushing for Goodfellas, besides the explanation of it, was there's no boobs in it.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
So I did explain to him that Casino is basically the same movie, but in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And Joe Pesci's in it, and he's actually crazier, I think, in Casino than he is in Goodfellas. At least in Goodfellas, he kind of has a reason for doing what he's doing in Casino. He's just flat nuts.
Yeah.
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 So we may watch that one next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm wanting to watch Goodfellas again. I haven't seen it since it first came out.
It holds up, dude.
Yeah.
It made me really, really miss Ray Liotta. Okay. I didn't realize I would miss him that much. So, and then we haven't gone to Tarantino route. I'm sure once we get through a few of these, we'll end up doing a Tarantino. I was thinking about Tarantino the other day, and I know you're going to disagree with this because you and I disagree on Once Upon a Time in the Life of Hollywood.
I have never been more hot and cold with the director than I am Tarantino. Yeah.
So Tarantino and Scorsese are my 2 favorite directors.
More than Spielberg.
Yeah.
Seriously, more than Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, freak.
Well, I'll say this. Spielberg's up there. I don't want to do like 1, 2, 3. The 3 of those are up there. Okay. I'll just say that.
Goodfellas is 16th in movies that are using the F word.
Okay.
Okay.
Tarantino, I love his the whole reason I watch the movies is for the dialogue, and then the violence is like secondary. But I love he can write people talking better than anyone.
Sometimes he can.
I see. Yeah, you and I disagree a little bit on this. I think he absolutely perfected it with Once Upon a Time in the Life of Hollywood. Once Upon a Time
in America,
in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time, whatever.
If you look that up, there are tons of snippets of that all over TikTok, and there's one that keeps popping out as people are saying it's Brad Pitt's best line in any movie ever, and I think I have to agree with it. It's when and you only saw this movie once, so you may not remember the scene. The Manson, okay, spoiler for Once Upon a Time in Life of Hollywood. It's basically the story of the Manson murders.
Yes. But
they broke into the wrong house.
Yes.
And it's the stunt double. Brad Pitt plays the stunt double for Leonardo DiCaprio. Mm-hmm. He's in the house and he's got a dog that attacks testicles. They are holding knives up at him, and he's trying to remember their name. He's like, I can't remember the name. And it's like, his name was Tex. He's like, nah, it's dumber than that. People love that line.
Yeah.
More than anything that Brad Pitt has ever done in his career. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I will say,
I would still say his part in Thelma and Louise.
So my favorite Tarantino movies to sit down and watch that seem the most natural with the dialogue are Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Django Unchained, and The Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight is a damn near a masterpiece with speaking.
Okay.
I go back, so I got on a Tarantino kick, and I went back to watch Reservoir Dogs, and it seems forced to me.
Thank you.
It seems forced. It seems like scripted.
I thought it felt forced.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I watched that after I watched Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction is much more natural. He got into to the swing of it there. And Kill Bill, I think he does a really good job at Kill Bill.
And Kill Bill 1.
I like them both.
Okay.
I like them both.
Yeah.
Because Kill Bill 2 is the one where she dug her way out of the grave.
Yes.
It's about her training.
The fingers and
yeah.
Yeah. This is an audio podcast. So, yeah.
They're both great, but I think sometimes Uma Thurman doesn't sound like someone would actually speak.
Right.
I think a lot of the reason I like Hateful Eight so much is because of Kurt Russell. Mm-hmm. He owns every ounce of that screen when he's on it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I was saying. I got off. It's going to turn into the Kurt Russell podcast because we just watched The Thing recently.
We should have a Kurt Russell podcast.
We should.
Yeah. A whole episode devoted to nothing but Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to watch Miracle and we'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch Escape from LA too because I've seen clips of it.
Yeah.
I know that I think at the time
we'll go back and watch the Disney movies that he was in when he was 6.
At the time it was meant to be tongue in cheek. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was in this weird state of where, well, that's stupid. Nobody could surf while shooting a gun. Yeah. And that shark has an eye patch or whatever the hell happened in the thing.
Yeah, you got to let go of some reality there.
But anyway, Goodfellas had that.
Oh, we're back to Goodfellas. 20 minutes later. So Goodfellas.
I think Tarantino has progressed quite a bit from when I go back and watch Reservoir Dogs. Again, it feels like a student movie almost compared to what he's doing. I will say now. I think Scorsese. I have a little bit of that feel. Have you seen The Irishman? It's like 18 hours long.
I have not. I keep meaning to. I hear it's amazing.
It is, and people complain about the length.
That's what she said.
It is about 15 hours long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid long.
It's over 4 hours long. In reality, yeah.
But also...
this guy who's on Twitter said, I'll binge watch 12 hours of a series back to back to back to back to back. But no, I can't watch The Irishman because it's too long. And I agree with that because you got the breaks in between. So your brain turns off, turns back on, and then picks up another episode.
Well, it's Scorsese. One of the reasons I like Scorsese is I don't know if he has ADHD. There's something where he switches scene to scene. We noticed when we were watching Goodfellas, every scene is starting in the middle of the scene. Everything comes in the middle of the scene. Nothing's like I'm walking into the room, I'm going to have this conversation. It's like they're in the middle of an argument, and now we're in the middle of this conversation, and the music is changing and moving. Mm-hmm. It's a 2.5 hour movie. It feels like a 90-minute movie. It doesn't feel like it's 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
The Irishman's the same way. It is like realistically about 4 hours. Yeah. It felt like a normal size length movie to me.
Okay.
But because it kind of does the same thing. So speaking of long movies, 2 new Lord of the Rings movies are
I've heard
on
about
the docket.
That. Yeah, I'm going.
The original, the Hobbits are all grown up. They go to college. Is that what this is?
I think so.
Dude, where's my ring? Is that what this is?
Dude, where's my ring? Yeah.
You're listening to Irritable Dad Syndrome, Cincinnati's comedy podcast.
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you, I make you laugh. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Libby and I went to see Southern Culture on the Skids.
Yes,
this was
Scott's.
I don't remember how many times I've seen them. 15?
Yeah.
More? I don't know.
You were up on stage with them at one point.
I've been on stage with them several times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they recognize you when you came in? You're like, hey, guys.
They don't recognize me by name. But Mary was talking to me. She goes, I recognize your face. And I told her, I said, I saw you God knows how many times at the Casbah in Johnson City. And then I've seen you this many times here. She goes, that's right. My God, they did 27 songs, I think, was on the set list.
Okay.
They played 2 solid hours.
Yeah.
I mean, they went deep. They pulled out new stuff. They dug out crap that I don't know how many times I've seen them. But I've never heard them do this song or this song.
Yeah.
And they just keep sounding better.
Okay. Good.
My God, Mary's voice sounds better than it ever has. And Rick plays guitar so hard, I swear he's going to break the guitar right in the middle. And Dave is a drummer, and he plays a stand-up cocktail kit, and he is a fantastic drummer. And I brought with me, probably 20 years ago, I bought a box set of 45s that they released. They all autographed my box set of 45s.
Okay.
And they were like, when did you get this? I'm like, I got it when you first released it. And they appreciated that. I didn't just buy it off of some on eBay.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, they were absolutely amazing. I talked to Rick. He said he was going to be on this podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Rick's like, oh, I'll do your podcast. And then, so I'm standing there talking to Rick, and he had autographed my box set of 45s. And this guy says, hey, fellas, smile. So I lean in for a picture with Rick, and Rick says, say Irritable Dad Syndrome. And we all smile, click, you know.
Yeah.
Rick and Mary and Dave were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Libby loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
So if you guys are anywhere near a town where Southern Culture on the Skids are coming, go to the show. You will thank me. We made new friends. This woman named Carol and her husband, Joe.
Okay.
Libby was sitting in the back. During the opening act, she was sitting back there, resting her feet, resting her back. We're out there, and I told these people, I said, I hope you guys don't mind, but my wife is going to come up and visit. She's not cutting line. They're like, oh, no, not a problem at all. What's her name? I said, my wife's name is Libby. Oh, okay. Well, where is she? I'm like, she's in the back, but she'll be up here. Yeah. Okay. And so then they would come up, is Libby here yet? No, not yet. Well, where is she? She's coming. Yeah. Is Libby here yet? No, no, not yet. Libby comes in. They're like, hey, it's Libby. Libby. Woo, Libby. And Libby's like, hi. Hi. Had no idea what was going on. I was like, Libby. Woo. The opening act was this guy who goes by Laid Back Country Picker.
Okay.
He's got, I don't know, mutton chops? Do you describe them as mutton chops?
Yeah.
They came down to like almost his shoulder blades. These mutton chops. He's got the mustache and then the chin part shaved. Cowboy hat. Out there with a damn V-neck guitar.
Okay.
Tearing it up. Just tearing it up. Just going crazy. Because he walks out on stage, and as soon as he walks on, I'm like, this is going to be good. And even if it's not good, it's going to be memorable. So Laid Back Country Picker. And if you get an opportunity to see Laid Back Country Picker, go see the Laid Back Country Picker. He is amazing. His drummer is this woman. Looks like my grandmother on my mom's side.
Okay.
About 5 feet tall, sunglasses, and she's wearing a pink nightshirt.
Yeah.
She's got her hair in curlers.
Okay.
She's going to town on the drums. He plays 2 songs, and hey, everybody, I'm Laid Back Country Picker. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. Happy to hear you. Let's give it up for, on the drums, Honey. And everybody starts screaming. And she just stares at everybody like, what in the hell are you doing? Like, get off my lawn.
Yeah.
She was not having it.
Yeah.
She didn't smile, didn't wince, nothing. And then, I mean, everybody's just cracking up at Honey.
Yeah.
And then, Honey, will you marry me? But she's, playing drums. And he does a cover of Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult, which is great. He did Eastbound and Down by Jerry Reed, which was great.
Okay.
But he, his originals were really good. And he is one hell of a guitar player.
Yeah.
Just rockabilly. You would call it country-ish rockabilly. Yeah.
Okay.
If you go to a Southern Culture on the Skid show, there's a chance that you will get banana pudding.
Okay.
Because they have a song called Banana Pudding, and people will always bring banana pudding and pass it out. So we had banana pudding.
Okay.
When they do 8-piece box, that's a song about chicken.
Okay.
They throw chicken out to the audience.
Okay.
we got our chicken.
Okay.
And then when they do the camel walk, they throw out oatmeal cream pies because he says, little Debbie, I'm coming on home because you make me want to walk like a camel.
Yeah.
Ow!
Yeah.
So we got all that.
Yeah.
So during that, laid back country picker and Honey come out on stage, and Honey's staring at her like she could give it. And she's throwing chicken out. We had the time of our life.
Yeah, yeah.
We had so much fun. I cannot recommend enough if you get an opportunity to go see Southern Culture. You guys missed out.
I know.
You were invited. Again, Rick said he would be on the podcast. We'll see.
Hi, I'm Dave Lay, the announcer for Irritable Dad Syndrome. Do you have a business or product you'd like to advertise? Well, this is the perfect place to do it.
That's right.
Send a message to our Facebook page and one of our marketing geniuses will take care of everything. If it works for Whompers all-beef footlong hot dogs, it'll work for you too. So what are you waiting for? Get your ad on Irritable Dad Syndrome now. Back to you in the studio.
I like to throw a shout out to this woman I met. Her name is Allison. She works at Trek Bike Shop. Okay. I went to Trek to buy Libby I bought her a cruiser bike.
Is this over VOA?
Yeah. I screwed up really hard on the surprise.
Yeah.
Because my son Jacob has a CPAP machine now. He's been snoring like crazy. He went and got checked. Turns out he has apnea. He's getting a CPAP machine. We keep going back and forth with the doctor's office of when is he supposed to get this CPAP machine. So I called and left a message with the doctor. We were wondering when we were going to get the machine. They said, we will call you back and leave a message. Is this a good number? Yes, this is a good number. Okay, great. So I get this message. Hey, it's hard to understand. Couldn't, and I was working and I was in a bad way at work. I wasn't in a really good mood. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's the message about the CPAP machine, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Later that night, Libby says, did you hear back from the doctor about the CPAP machine? I said, yeah. And I got the phone and I said, they called and said, hang on. And I played her the message. Hey, this is Allison at Trek. Your bike is prepared and we're going to have it ready for the thing. And I'm like,
yeah.
Libby, God love her, Meryl Streep. She said, "What'd they say? What?
Okay.
What did they say?" I'm like, they said that it was ready.
Something.
Yeah. And then I gave her the bike. I'm like, you knew, right? She goes, yeah. But she acted like she did.
Okay.
So anyway, Allison, I'm talking to Allison, and while she's getting the bike and everything ready, she had mentioned something about somehow the topic of podcasts came up. And I said, well, I have a podcast. She says, my husband has a podcast.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, his podcast is Hops and Box Office Flops.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a bad podcast.
No.
I checked it out.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I was talking to Allison when I went to pick it up, and she was like, boy, I hope I don't wind up on Irritable Dad Syndrome. I'm like, we talk about people who are nice. We don't talk about people just when they do stupid stuff. Yeah. So, hi, Allison. Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Nothing tastes better at a cookout than a Whompers all-beef footlong hot dog.
I got a P.O. box for us for the show.
Wow.
It's on our, you sign up for our email list. It's at the bottom. You can send us letters.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Letters.
Nice letters.
We get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
All those things.
Oh, but I would love to get a postcard.
Yeah, but when I apply for it, I put business name, I put Irritable Dad Syndrome, and the guy that was there, he was like, Irritable Dad Syndrome. I'm an irritable dad. I was like, really?
Yeah.
That's my podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle of saying, that's my podcast. He goes, all right. He just took it and went back to get the keys and get me out of there. I was like, oh, all right.
Okay.
All right. You were that was for you. You said that for you. You weren't expecting any interaction from me.
I wasn't prepared for a follow-up on that.
Yeah, it was like, we're done.
I think there's a ghost in my house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have a drawer.
Yeah.
There's in our dining room, we have this cabinet, and the drawer keeps opening up. And I've given this a lot of thought. Either someone is breaking into the house, opening the drawer, and leaving.
Okay,
that's A. B is the drawer or my house is haunted.
Okay.
Another possibility.
Yeah.
C is I need to tighten the rollers on the thing in case the drawer is not level.
Well, that's crazy.
Right. Totally crazy.
Yeah.
But then there's D, Steve Farrell, who mentioned maybe I'm opening up in my sleep, to which I had not given that thought. I used to sleepwalk a lot. I could do a whole podcast on walking in my sleep and talking in my sleep. Maybe we'll do that next week.
Does the drawer open easily?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It just slides out. I'll walk into the dining room and the drawer's open.
Yeah.
And for a while there, I was going to just start beating the kids. I told you to close the damn drawer.
Yeah.
Get down here. And just beat them until the drawer is shut and then some.
Yeah, I don't know how a drawer would be affected by this, but we have our doors every once in a while will move. And it's the air currents in the house. I'll notice that it happened like right when the air came on, especially in the summer when you're using air conditioning.
See,
the little door that goes to the garage.
You're saying air currents, and I hear ghost.
Yeah, you'll see the door go when it starts when it pops on. And I was thinking, man, if there was a supernaturally whatever guy,
if I was home by myself, that would scare yourself.
What the hell? Yeah. See, I make fun of that stuff all the time, but yeah, if Bess goes on a trip and the kids are at sleepovers. Dude, every light in this house is on.
Yeah, yes.
There's a TV on playing music and doing things, and I just can't take it.
Have you ever noticed that if you're home and everybody in the house is asleep, okay, it's quiet.
I'm okay that way, yeah.
But if you're by yourself, no one's home.
You hear
yeah. Why is the house even quieter when there's nobody there who's not making any noise?
Yeah, because subconsciously your brain knows there should be no noise.
Yeah.
There should be none.
One of the dumbest things I ever did was Libby doesn't watch horror movies. And I thought, I've never watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I want to see what the big deal is with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And she was gone. So I rented it. I put it in.
Yeah.
And it's so boring. It takes forever to get started.
Okay.
And they're all like, hey, what's going on over here? Let's go to the lake. And this guy's a jerk. And
it ramps up quick.
He's trying to hit on her. Yeah. And we need to use your phone, like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And she goes into the house and there's all the parts and stuff hanging from, and the door opens and he hits her and closes the door. And I turned it off.
I don't think so.
I turned off the TV.
Yeah.
I stood up and did one of those, like you're wringing water off your hands, shaking it off. Yeah, I locked the door to the basement. I locked the front door. I locked the back door. I had all the lights on, and I walked around. I'm like,
yeah. I will tell you this. I got a couple things on this. One is I would like to see a horror movie, a realistic one that involves parents.
Yeah.
Because I think a realistic one would be just like what you were saying. If somebody's home and you hear sounds, it's like, really? Are you guys still up?
Yeah.
Can you just go to bed?
Yeah.
Or can you turn off the TV? I could see somebody, like in a normal horror movie, you would hear a sound like a door opening or a TV turning on, and you hear that music like doom doom. No, a parent would be like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!"
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta go down there. I gotta tell them to turn the thing on.
Yeah,
and then you go down, and there's nothing there. And then, I guess they turned it off because they heard me coming down the steps to go back to bed. It would be the most boring horror movie, horror movie ever.
My old neighbors, when I lived in Johnson City, said, "Hey, what are you guys doing tonight?" I was going to watch the original Halloween.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, yeah, we got stuff to do. We can't, but, sorry." I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm watching Halloween. And then they start scratching on the wall. And then Chris goes out and he starts scratching on my window. Yeah. And then Heather runs around and starts scratching on my back door. Yeah. Like, I know it's you guys. I know. Hello?
My roommates did that when Blair Witch came out. And you know what? Before you guys step in, back in the day, we thought that was real. I don't care who you are. The internet said it was real. It was real. So I went to the movie. And I saw it, and I was freaked out. Came home, and my roommate and his girlfriend thought it would be funny if they got some branches and they were rubbing them on the window outside my
I worked with this woman who was convinced it was real.
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, it was real." I said, "Susan, it wasn't real." "No, it was real, Darren." "Susan, it's a movie. They made it for like $8,000. It's not real." "No, it's real." I said, "My God, Susan." She goes, "Darren, it was on TV last night. It was on Sci-Fi."
Yeah, they had documentaries.
Susan, Sci-Fi stands for science fiction. Fiction's false.
Yeah. In her defense,
I like that movie though. I did. I love that movie.
In her defense, they had.
Do you remember the Halloween episode that we did?
Yeah.
Is that one? Did we put that in the vault?
That's in the vault.
Oh, good. Yeah. Thank God.
But yeah,
friends, we did an episode, the Halloween episode, where we talked about. We each went through our 10 favorite horror movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, it was bad. Took like 2.5 hours. It was bad.
He was awesome.
Yeah. Thank God it's in the vault. Miles, Miles, the fan of the show, his little sister who just turned like 13 or something last year, she's like, "I listened to your podcast." I was like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah.
She says, "I listened to the Halloween episode." She just looked at me like, gross.
Yeah. We've got the VR, the PlayStation VR.
Virtual reality.
Yeah. And there's a game, Resident Evil 7.
Okay.
And in the first part of the game, you're going through a house that's clearly not right. But, so
Continue.
clearly VR, you feel like you're there. Mm-hmm. And if you're watching someone play it, it's not in that... Really? The dogs have lost their mind. Yeah. It's not that intensely scary, but when you're there, it's a haunted house, or it's a house with bad things in it. Right. And you walk up to it and you can look in the window. Now, it's one thing to watch a horror movie where there's a haunted house and somebody could go up and look in the window, like, hey, maybe go up there and look in the window before you go in to see if there's anything in there.
Sure.
I stood. Now, I'm in this room. I'm safe in my home. All I have is this thing strapped to my head. Mm-hmm. I stood there. I'm not afraid to admit it. At least 2 or 3 minutes. I don't want to look. I don't want to go in the house. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I know it's not real, but it's 3D, and there's like parts of your brain are like, this is going to hurt you.
Yeah.
You go in, and man, my fight or flight, I could not play that game for more than 5 to 10 minutes before I was off.
Yeah.
The only way that I got as far as I did, I actually ended up getting a few hours into it, was I actually streamed it. The bad thing about streaming, though, is when you're in VR, you can't see any screen because you're in the place. So when someone messages you, like what Stump is doing on our stream here, it goes and pops up.
Oh, scares us. Yeah.
So I screamed. It was about midnight. There was a crazy lady with a knife stalking me, and it can hear like microphones. If you make a noise, she'll know where you are.
Yeah.
And I was literally crouching here, hiding behind a desk.
You weren't hiding.
I was. You have to get down to where they can't see you.
Really?
And I'm crouching.
Your body actually has
my
to...
body, down. You have to be crouching behind the desk. So I'm down there on my hands and knees, and I hear her. I can only tell where she is by her walking around. And she stopped moving. She stopped shuffling her feet and cussing. They're going for the Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
You're in a house like that, and it's a family, and the mom is crazy.
Okay.
And there's one part where she's trying to get to you, and you're in the kitchen, and you're down behind like an island, a counter, and she's shuffling through there cussing. I'm going to find you, and I'm going to stab your... And she's just like she's Scorsese in it all over the place. I giggled a little bit. I was like that.
And she heard you.
And she stopped shuffling.
No.
And I couldn't hear anything. I just hear like there's the faucets dripping. And I was like, I almost myself. And then somebody in the chat went boom, and the boom thing was... which caused me to go, and she like, there you are, and she like comes over the thing, and everything goes black and with blood. I'm like, guys, I'm done.
She killed you?
Yeah. She killed me. I can't play the game anymore. I took it off. I ended the stream, but it's great fun. But anyway, coming back to that, I told the kids we need to put mom in there. We need to get Bess, not my mom, but get Bess in the VR. I want to see if she can just get into the house. I'll tell her. That's your goal.
Just get in the house.
If you get in the house, I'll give you $100 cash.
Yeah.
If you manage to walk into the house.
I love how you're going to give her money.
Yeah, give her her money.
They remade The Strangers.
Did they? I never watched. I watched the original up until I watched maybe 10 to 15 minutes of it, and I couldn't.
I was going to say that movie messed me up.
Yeah.
It really sincerely messed me up hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way I can do that again. And I didn't see The Strangers 2 because I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want. I didn't want to ruin the first one because I did enjoy the first one very much so. It was very scary because usually those movies don't scare me, but they've remade it. And I remember years and years ago when the boys were just babies. I think Jacob must have been 5 and Cameron was 1. And we went to Saugatuck, Michigan. Okay, we went and rented this cabin up in Michigan. And what we're going to do is go to the lake.
Cabins are the worst, man.
Yes. So we're driving out to this cabin. And we're on the highway, which you turn off, and then you get on the a smaller road. And you turn off that, you get on a paved road, and then the paved road turns into a dirt road. And we're driving down this dirt road, and there's this giant branch that had fallen across the road. And I'm like, this is where I get out of the van to move the branch. And then, and then I wake up, and I'm upside down in a barn. Libby is being just tortured.
Crazy dude with a curved knife getting ready to slice off your pecker.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, okay, well, kids, I love you, Libby, honey.
Yeah.
And so she's, honest to God, Libby is like looking right and left, up and down, everywhere. While I get out to move this branch out of the road.
Yeah.
We get to the cabin, And the cabin said that there was 2 bedrooms, 2 full baths.
Okay.
What they didn't say was that the 2 bedrooms weren't connected.
What happened?
Right? So this house that we rented in Michigan, there was a little concrete path that led from one part of the house to the other that had a separate lock.
Outside?
Yeah, you walked outside to get to the other part of the house.
That's a nightmare.
Yes.
That's a nightmare.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the boys are little.
Oh, yeah.
So here we are on vacation. Libby's sleeping with Cameron, and Jacob's in bed with me.
Yeah.
And Jacob's a flipper and a flopper and a tosser. He keeps smacking me in the head with his, you know, and Libby and I are like, well, happy vacation, you know?
Yeah.
Jesus. And so there's one night, here we are in this cabin. I could not sleep because I kept going and checking the window to make sure that there weren't any strangers out there staring into the cabin. Yeah. Because where we were, if I'd called 911, it would have taken at least a half hour for somebody to come.
They would have come by chopper or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They would have got there if there weren't any more branches in the road. Oh, guys, we've gone over time.
We have.
What happened?
Way over time.
Yeah. We want to thank you for listening. We want you to go to Irritable Dad Syndrome. Honest to God, guys, Mike has just really, really revamped our website. Our website is brand new. Go to irritabledadsyndrome.com. It looks kick-ass.
And become a patron because you get all the unedited stuff. So this episode on Patreon is going to be about an hour 15, an hour 20. And you're like, man, this episode is only 20 minutes. It's because we've edited out all the... But you get to hear all the... And you get on Patreon.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff in there.
Yeah, if you go to Patreon, there's all kinds of bonus stuff. There's just hours and hours and hours of bonus stuff. So, and if you become a patron, you help us keep this podcast going.
Yes.
So, and we thank you so much for that. We're going to go. See you next week on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Irritable Dad Syndrome is a Mike Odell, Darin Cox production. Before we go, you may have noticed that the guys teased a story at the beginning of the show that they didn't talk about. We're sorry about that. Don't try to sue us. Ha ha ha. Our lawyer will destroy you in court.
Did you get a letter from the such and such? Do we have a thing from so-and-so? What's your password for this? Oh, most of the day, and then it goes away.
So you not only deal with such and such, but you also still work with so-and-so. Okay.
Yeah.
Sleepwalking, sleep-talking stories.
Thank you.
So sick. We're going to edit that question out.
Happy
Thank you very much.
Foul Day. Happy Towel Day. Or the Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I cannot say that.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah.
He's not with a full, what do you call that?
Full deck?
Not playing with a full deck. Well, you're going to have to edit to make me not sound like I need to go into the home.
I do that every week. I do that to me, too.
There's people probably calling, but we should call emergency services for Mike. He's, there's eyes dilated.
My business? I don't have a business.
Yeah.
And she says, yeah, I mean, you do because you made this much more than you did last year. I said,
yeah.
I don't have a business. And she looks, it's not Darin Cox on there. It's another person with a similar name.
Darfin Knox.
Darfin Knox. Yeah.
We open up our lives to everything. When Google becomes Skynet and kills everyone, we're going to be in the first ones.
When our robot overlords.
Yeah, we won't make it to a vault. Our family will be decimated. The Terminators will come here first. But for right now, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, Mike, are you still doing this stupid thing you call a podcast? Yes. Yeah.
Have a great day and stay cool.